Hey, welcome back to the Hey Brother podcast. This is season. Oh, Gary's back.
Hi, Gary.
This episode has been brought to you by Gary.
I wanted to start singing. No. Gary, come home.
Oh, man. Good start. Welcome to the Hey Brother podcast, where Catholic men share about real struggles. I'm Nick Clooney, your host, a Catholic psych mentor and the founder of Craft It For More, a mentorship practice dedicated to helping men live more radically free lives. Each week, I sit down with a man to hear his story about how brotherhood has shaped him, the struggles he's facing, and where he wants to grow. In addition to our weekly interviews, I share conversations with my brother Mitch. Subscribe and follow so we can walk this journey together. We want your help to build a stronger, authentic Catholic brotherhood. Hey, welcome back to the Hey Brother podcast. This is season 2 of the Hey Brother podcast. I never thought we would do seasons, but we just kind of went with the flow because we needed to slow life down, slow this podcast down because you had a kiddo. Which
I did have a kiddo, yes.
Which we were like keeping up with for a minute.
Yeah.
Until we didn't.
Yeah, then I went back to work and whatever, and then
Yeah.
it's just like, yeah.
It's a lot. It's like that paternity leave left enough room to podcast, and then
Right, exactly.
and then life gets busy. But it's good because it kind of sparked a conversation. I mean, that and the start of summer, this idea of how are we slowing down, and I think it's good to live that out in the podcast, but then also talk about that.
Yeah, maybe less of how are we slowing down, and at least for me, of like, okay, I need to slow down.
Yeah.
Just because life was going by too fast, you know. That like lots of like responsibilities that you just have to do, right? And then I guess another thing I mean by like slowing down is like living in the moment too.
Okay.
Because it's like it's easy to like have, this is my third kid, so 3 under 4. And it was just hectic, right? And
Yeah.
There was a while there where I was just, the only thing getting me to tomorrow was the fact that I wanted to go to bed now. Like, you know,
10 today.
yeah, right. Like it would be, yeah, there wasn't like, I don't know, one thing. We'd come home and then baby would be crying and kids need it fed and other honey-do list things, and then by the time you know it, before I even like took my shoes off, it's bedtime, and then rinse and repeat for the next day.
So just running from one thing to the next.
Yeah,
and,
right.
No space in between, and yeah, I feel like it's super relatable. I mean, not 3 kids under 4. Some guys can relate to that, but like super relatable in the fact that I think that's how we tend to handle change a lot of times. Like if there's a change that enters into our life, new job or kid, or even something like less substantial, like it throws off our routine, it throws off our rhythm, and like that's how we handle it. Is just like everything becomes like enmeshed.
I mean, kind of. I mean, I guess my first thought to that is like, what is there another way to do it? Because like you kind of just have to figure it out, right? But because the biggest thing that I've like about having my third kid was that just in time for being a family of 4 to get into like a rhythm and like a good pace of life, then like, oh, we only have 3 months of this before the baby's coming. Which like was great. Like we finally mastered being a family of 4, and now we're on track to be a family of 5.
Yeah.
And obviously not complaining about that, but like that pace of life was like routine, right? And now we have a 5th kid, and not only routine, but like it was fun, like manageable, good. We were good at it, and a whole nother kid like just threw that everything into a wrench. But yeah, like having a kid isn't the only reason that you can get like a life change in your routine, but you just have to, you end up trying to do all the things you were doing and for the reasons you were doing them past the life event.
Right. It's like a failure, and it's like it shouldn't be. It seems like obvious. I should acknowledge that I have another kid, or I should acknowledge this change. But like, there's a part of your brain that doesn't acknowledge it.
That really wants to watch an episode of Taskmaster before I go to bed tonight.
Was it happening? Were you watching Taskmaster before?
No. That's a new thing.
A new thing. Yeah. I mean, it's good to have
a new old thing, right?
Yeah. How do I deal with my problems? YouTube. And if you're watching Hey Brother Podcast, it's a perfect way to deal with your problems.
There we go.
I think that makes sense. So, like, it's an old thing. You're saying, like, YouTube habits, like, just, like, I need to watch something. Like, was that, like, a space creator for you? Like, Taskmaster or any YouTube things? Like, when you start to feel life's a little crowded, it's like, I'm going from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next.
Yeah, right. And, I mean, I guess, like, the space it fills is that I will never not think this is true, that the best, most peaceful time of my life was when my wife was pregnant with our second kid.
Okay.
Because our kids are close in age. And so when she was pregnant, our other kid was like 7-8 months old.
Yeah.
In the first trimester. And our oldest would go to bed at like 7.
Okay.
And then my wife would go to bed at like 8:30. And then I would 2 hours to myself every night.
Yeah.
And like, in that state of life, that was like perfect for me. Because like, we were also like living in an apartment where I could like walk 30 feet to the gym.
Okay.
So they would go to bed. I would walk over to the gym, get back, shower, and then I'd pray for like 45 minutes. And then I would like, unwind for the night, watch like a video or on YouTube or something, but then still get to bed on time.
Yeah.
My problem is I still want to do all those things, but don't have the time.
Yeah.
Because when my wife takes baby duty and then I have the other kids. And so
all of a sudden it's like 9:30.
9:30 and it's in the summertime. And my son asks me, I'm like, hey, it's bedtime. And he's like, oh, but the sun's still out.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, well, I don't know how to refute that. Because I feel the same way.
Right. If the sun's not asleep, then I don't go to sleep.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah, it was such an interesting thing. Like, it's a topic that I've been encountering quite a bit. Well, even like just like thinking about the different family dynamic. Like, every time a new kid is added to the family, it changes the dynamic totally. Like, because a new human being has entered that dynamic.
Yeah,
I mean, like, numbers wise, there's like 1 and 2 like definitely feel like pretty dramatic shifts numbers wise. And then I've heard couples who have 7 kids, like, they're like, well, once you get past 3, like, it's just adding another number. Right. It might be just adding another kid, and like some of those routines that you have built in doesn't change as much. But it's always a different dynamic because every kid brings a different personality. Yeah. And like everyone has a different relationship to that new personality that's entering into the family. I mean, obviously the newborn takes a little while for that personality to develop, but it's still there. And anyway, it got me thinking about that, but also thinking about Dr. Greg writes in his book, The Mindful Catholic, about how he's had like 5 busiest times in his life. Because he's always like reflecting, like he's like, so he starts off at the first busiest time of his life, quote unquote, was when he went to Steubenville and was working on his undergrad. And he's like, high school was kind of a breeze, but Steubenville, like, I started getting like super like involved with a bunch of stuff and all these clubs and household and like activities. And he's like, that was the busiest time of my life. And he's like, until I went to grad school, or until I became a Franciscan friar. He's like, Franciscan friar, and did that. And he's like, and that was my busiest in time until I started grad school. And then that was the busiest time in life until I got married. Yeah. And I was struggling grad school, starting a practice. And he's like, that was a lot of work until I had another kid. Yeah. And he's like, his point was like, there's always like going to be busy times in life. Right.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess that ties it back. So like we could just start talking about what slowing down actually means.
Right. Because it's applicable across the board. Whatever busy time of life you find yourself getting into, whether it's adding a new kid, starting grad school, doing both. Yeah. like we always have room to slow down and just be more intentionally present to the here and now, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that helped me, at least this most recent time, is to like be comfortable with the mess.
Yeah.
Most often a literal mess.
Yeah.
Like
poopy diaper mess.
Yeah, there are more there's weeds taller than my son in my like flower bed, right?
Yeah.
Many of them.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's driving me nuts. But you know who does not have, like, it's not like I don't have the time, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that's like never a good excuse. Because like if my roof started leaking, then I'd have the time to fix that, right? But like I don't have the energy to
the bandwidth.
I don't have the resolve. I don't know what I'm trying to say. That it doesn't matter to me, right?
Right. It falls down here on the list.
Yeah, because what's more important to me is like wasting time with my son, right?
Yeah.
And my daughter, for that matter.
Sure.
And so like, you can't enjoy that unless you're comfortable with the mess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I know, I mean, I think if we told this to like our dad or my father-in-law or a lot of the guys back at home, like they would kind of like, I don't know. I don't know that they feel that same sentiment, but
yeah, and like their interior, like from what I see, is like their own kind of beating themselves up for not getting that job done would come out exterior. Maybe not towards you, but
right,
like directly,
right.
But like you see somebody else who doesn't have their weeds chopped down, they're like, well, that guy, like,
yeah, right, that guy's a mess.
yeah. And
it's like, well, it's like the opposite. It's like, even though I look like a mess, it's actually because I'm trying to not be a mess.
Right.
If I were to pull the weeds, then I would be a mess.
Yeah.
You know, like on the interior. Yeah. And then I would have my wife trying to take care of a baby and like toddlers and like just be with them all in the evening. Cause like, I mean, I have a list at home, right, of things that I need to like, not need to, but want to get done to like clean up around the house. But like, if I were to like execute that list, then I would come home in the evenings the next 2-3 weeks and just like go eat dinner, and then I'll be like, all right, I'll be back for bedtime. Yeah. And then go do all these things. And it's just like, why do we do those things? You know, like I want to do them because like it's like pulling weeds, cleaning up the backyard, like the limbs and stuff, and cleaning out my patio, making it like a good livable space. And I wanted all these things to like be to the end of living, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and so you can start living.
So you can start living. But like if you're losing the end through the means, then
there's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Don't get distracted. Like I'm trying to not be distracted about wanting to live in place of.
Did I shoot you living. That email? Somebody listens to the show and they're in the Hey Brother community or the Men Striving for More community, and they shot me an email. I won't say their name because I didn't get permission to go public with their information.
Yeah.
Did I shoot you their email?
I don't think so.
They were just talking about something very similar. How they wish they would have adopted kind of what we're talking about in their life, because they have growing children now and they miss that time that they could have spent with their kids.
Right.
And so that's just confirmation or affirmation of what you're saying to me. Like, it's so needed in the man's life right now, like men's life, to hear that it's okay to waste time with your kids. Yeah. Right. Not only is it okay, it's actually what's going to help them become healthy humans.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah.
And yeah, just another like wasting moment. Like I'm like, actually, I don't think I'll ever forget this because of how intentional I was about slowing down. I was just happened to like be playing with my daughter, my 2-year-old daughter, and I was just like tickling her or whatever, and then I just like paused in the moment, and I'm like, this is my daughter, like this specific daughter. Yeah. I have another one, but this daughter's never going to be 2 again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like I just freeze that memory in there, and I can just very clearly
fry it into the brain.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like that. Like I'm like, she's not gonna be 2 again. I just need to like experience her now because she's a wonderful 2-year-old.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah,
but like a lot of people say like you like oh, take those like memory like snapshots, and I've never like understood like that to the extent of what it can happen, and
it sounds a bit cheesy, doesn't it?
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And like it doesn't seem like real, and I wasn't even like looking for it necessarily, but like it happened like in that moment. So yeah, that was cool. Another way to like experience slowing down life.
Is like just paying attention to that specific moment. Yeah, I think that's really good. I think it's so common for us to plan for the perfect moment, and what Dr. Greg was getting at in the book was like we so oftentimes like time travel in our minds without even realizing it. We either like think like, wow, I had so much free time back in, like, we look back when it was the busiest time, right? Back in college, right? It's like, and you look back in hindsight, it's like, wow, I had so much free time. I mean, which is,
you'll never experience freedom like you do in college.
well, look, that's the thing is like, you ask yourself 5 years from now and like look back to this moment, 2025, it's like, wow, I only had 3 kids. I had so much free time. like, and the point is like, it's in the moment that you find the free time. It's not like the situation's contextual, right?
Yeah.
And anyone can find free time.
Excuse me.
But it involves slowing down. And so we do all this time travel, either like looking back and be like, wow, that time was idyllic. I had so much free time then. I'll never get that again. Or we'll be like, in the future, when I got that ideal house and, 10 acres and I can go free range my boys, right? They can just go like frolic in the fields. Like then life will be good, right? Like, and it's like, what's the only real thing we can tune into is like the here and now. And that's also something that I've come to learn through Catholic Psych, through talking with Dr. Greg and different people. It's like, that's the moment we encounter God too, is like the here and now. That's the moment we encounter relationship. It's like, you can't be in a future relationship or a past relationship. Like you can only be in this moment, like now. And it's so easy to not be in that moment, like to be distracted by the house projects, by the to-do list and anything else that comes
I mean,
up.
even, I don't know if this is bad, but like even like the like beating yourself up on like not praying every day, right? Like, I mean, obviously I think you should pray, but like it takes a different form when you're still trying to figure out a change in pace, right? Because like there's just some days where like, all right, one thing that I started doing too, which was really nice, was like I just turned the radio off on my drive to work, and I'm like, this is like, I've been wanting to have silent time, but this is the only time I feel like I can resemble silence. And like, that's like, I'm like, all right, I'm not praying the way I wish I was, but I don't like, through my own weakness and through the circumstances, like this is not going to happen the way I want it to happen. So, part of living in that mess too, right? Like just being comfortable with that, because like like the desire is still there, and I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like you pray in the fringes of moments.
The fringes of moments, meaning like you say that another way. I'm not following 100%.
Okay, so like I want to pray today, and that thought happened, but I am changing a stinky diaper.
Right.
And so like, all right, God, here's my prayer like today. Like, thank you for my kid.
Yeah.
You have the time and my focus while I'm changing this kid's diaper.
Yeah, and that's like, how do you like keep prayer in every moment, right?
Yeah.
The Bible verse that comes to mind there. It's like, it's good to have your set times of prayer, it's good to have those interrupted, right? Like, because it's like God allows interruptions to happen for a reason, whether that's a kid or your own thought process. Like, there's reasons that interruptions are happening, and like, it's good to be able to redirect your attention back to God as you can. And sometimes that means redirecting your attention back to God as you change a diaper, right? Like, or even like uniting that prayer to Mary. Like, she would have changed Jesus's dirty diapers. I don't know how they did diapers. There's probably no Pampers back in the first century Middle East. But like
only Huggies. But.
Only Huggies. It's like these are real moments, and that's like something else that like. Why is it okay to slow down? Like Jesus came and sanctified all of human life, like all of human life, not just the times you're praying, not just the times you go to mass, not just the times you receive the sacraments like confession or whatever it is. Like those times are great and like they're special and they're grace filled, but like he sanctified all of life. And that was like Father Columba. Did you watch that short that I sent you from him?
I don't think I got that.
Okay, I think we maybe were talking about it at softball.
Yeah. I don't think I got the short.
Maybe I never sent it. Yeah. So then you didn't watch it. But he's like,
no.
he's talking in an interview on a podcast about like how Jesus for 30 years. Which 30 years isn't the right math. It would have been probably like 23 years, when he started woodworking, whatever. The case.
Yeah.
But for 30 years, he's like, Jesus like built chairs.
Yeah.
The God who created the universe like allowed himself to be a human being who created chairs for 30 years with all the stuff going on in the world around him. Like he just did that. And like Father Columba's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And his point's like, Christ let himself be finite, let himself be bound to a singular moment, like time bound, and like particularly like attending to like one moment,
right? Which
it's something that we're called to do because we're human, and he's God, and like he doesn't have to be bound by finitude, but he is. Like we're finite, and Father Columba is like, he's like. We can't forget that. Like we can only do so much. The bandwidth is only so far.
Yeah.
Right. Like you would have to, if your roof started to leak, you would have to do that, but that would be at a cost, right?
Yeah.
It's a zero-sum game with being a human. Like there is no making up more time because we're finite, and we fight against that, and the only way to not fight against that is, or the only way to accept that is to slow, like what we're doing, talking about slowing down. And just being in the present moment, because that's really the only place we can be. Like, we can't be multiple places at once.
Yeah, right.
We can't. Like Father Columba's like, I create these to-do lists, and I like related to this point. It was like so much. He's like, I create these to-do lists that I couldn't even do in a month.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm sitting there doing like writing it up for the day, and I'm like, yeah, like I do that. Like, and then I beat myself up because like, man, I only got 2 of the like 10 items done on this to-do list when I've been trying to get more in the habit of like practicing slowing down and like beating myself up less. And like the worst is when I'm like in the middle of a project and it's like right at the end of the workday for me, and I'm like a couple steps away from like completing that project, but I don't get time to finish it, or like something happens and I have to step away from it, and so I'm leaving an unfinished project on my desk or on my computer.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, this day was terrible. It was the worst. And like, I start talking to Renee about that and like complaining.
Yeah.
and then she's like, but like, what you all do today? And I like start listing off like, I got replied to all my clients, got like XYZ done, like sent these like 4 important emails, prepared a talk that is coming up. And she's like, it sounds pretty productive. I'm like, but I didn't finish the project. like,
yeah, right. No, they're working. Nothing's worse than working 8 hours on something, but like you do like 90% of the work, yeah, right. But you don't accomplish it, right? Like,
yeah,
there's the difference between getting stuff done and accomplishing things, right?
Yeah, right.
and it's just very unsatisfying to not accomplish anything, even though you moved. Like I've like moved like 4 projects, like 80% of the way done, but
yeah,
and it's just like, well, that sucks.
And
couldn't finish anything, but
for me, that's like one of the things that pulls me away from the present moment the most is like just ruminating on the stuff I could have gotten done, or like I feel like I should have gotten done, and not just like actually being like, oh, okay, I'll get it done tomorrow, like it'll be fine, or next week, like not having trust in the process or trust that like it'll work itself out. Like, and I just find myself constantly going back to like trying to problem solve that instead of actually like slowing down and be like, no, like right now I'm with my family and like things are good. We got food on the table. Like I don't need to be worrying right now.
Yeah. And like the other fact of the matter is sometimes 80%, that's like a B, right? And like you're done, right? Like, that's good enough. And I mean, like as much as it sucks that you don't want to like leave things as good enough.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, like in my experience, part of slowing down is.
Well, we got a friend who's in grad school right now. There it is. And he's like, I think getting a B is the most virtuous thing I can do for my life right now. Cause he's got a kid and like, they want to grow their family. And he's like, cause if I'm getting A's right now in grad school, that means I'm doing way too much work and like devoting way too much time to school and not my family. And I'm like, that's like a fair point. like to strive for a virtuous B.
Yeah. I tested out of my bio class going into my senior year of college, and you needed like a 70% to pass, and I got a 77.
Okay.
And I told my wife, because we were like engaged at the time, I'm like, darn it, I studied 7% too much. I could have been doing anything else.
Got that 7% time back, yeah. That's awesome. Oh, man.
But I think what I want to I think I found the words for like the prayer thing is like, especially in terms of like changing life, right? Like prayer was something before I had my 5th kid.
Yeah.
Like it looked a certain way. And then life changed, and then it looked a different way, and the desire was that I wanted to look how it did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was very,
this is what prayer was, this is what it should be now.
right? Like I mean, like when I tell you, like we were in the routine of living as a family of 4, like almost like every aspect was the same. Like not like the same, but like everything was like figured out, right?
Right.
And the strategies that I was using then didn't work when we were a family of 5, and that was particularly frustrating. And like, I mean, like that's something I've experienced before. Even like when I had only 1 kid, it's like I want to pray like I prayed in college, like
right.
Yeah, like
where you had all the time.
Yeah, right. I woke up, I went to adoration from 8 to 9 a.m. then got in there to like class on time, right? Like every almost every morning that one semester, but
yeah, but
but
when you're a married person, it doesn't work the same.
Yeah, it won't be the same.
Married person with kids, yeah. So like, what are some practical things we can like turn towards in like this idea of slowing down? Like, what does that practically mean?
Scheduling would help me a lot.
Yeah.
Because like you know, like I make those lists all the time of the things that, you know, like things that I would like to get done, things that would be nice to get done, things that we want to improve someday.
Yeah.
It's a constantly.
Sounds like a SWOT analysis. I don't know if you've looked at those before or not, but that's like an organizational leadership thing. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. SWOT. But
like with an O.
Yeah.
That's weird. I think of SWAT like
SWAT team. Yeah.
Like what I'm doing with all these skeeters in here.
Skeeters. The new Hey Brother studio is filled with lots of skeeters. If you want to donate to make a permanent studio, the link's in the description.
You could go for an air conditioner in here.
Yeah.
But scheduling, because I found like having, this was like advice I even got like in college. It's just like, I think we talked about this, where like you have to like schedule a block of like free time. I'm gonna have to been talking about that with prayer or something, right? Like
sure.
Like
rehash it though. I mean it's probably scheduling's come up a couple of times in different areas, but I don't know if we've intentionally
and it's different than what we talked about. So like I think I mentioned before, like you have to like schedule a block of time to like waste, because if you have like an empty block of time in a schedule, it can become anything. But if you block it out to like
just be wasting time with kids, family,
then it's like uninterruptible wasted time, which is nice. But for scheduling for me for like these last couple weeks is I like, all right, Monday night I'm doing this, and then, which is softball right now,
right,
and then Thursday night I'm playing a board game with a buddy, and that's my leisure time. Like, those 2 nights of the week. The rest of the nights of the week are not my time. Like, and I can be okay with that because I have my 2 nights of the week. The other nights of the week involve like doing house projects right on. Like, I think that's like my Tuesday I can come home and I can
get a house project in.
I can do things.
And
then Wednesday we have other things going on. Fridays and Saturdays are pretty open, but like another part of that is like coming home too, and like, oh, this has been great. I've been grilling like 2 or 3 nights a week outside in the summer, which is like, 1, just fun, 2 is quick, 3 is easy to clean up, and 4, because it's easy to clean up and I cooked already, I like, my wife does like cleans up and I get to play with the kids afterwards.
Yeah, that's nice.
So like there's like a rhythm to that schedule too, where like it's kind of expected that I'm going to come home, cook dinner, and then play with the kids for a while.
Yeah.
And that's uninterruptible time to me.
Yeah.
Like that's the schedule. Like that's what we're doing today.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. It reminds me of something that I saw from Father Mike Schmitz in a video once. Like, he's on spontaneity. Maybe we've talked about this in a previous episode or not, but it's like how do you be a spontaneous person, right? How do you live spontaneity in your life? And he's like, you have to have a schedule. He's like, if you don't have a schedule, if you don't have that spontaneous time scheduled, and you don't, so then like, or not scheduled, because that defeats spontaneity. But if it's like, if you don't live your schedule, then you won't have that actual true spontaneous time frame, right? Because it's like you have all these things that you do, but if you miss your prayer in the morning, or you don't study when you're supposed to study, or you don't,
if you don't pull the weeds when you said you're going to pull the weeds, they're going to get taller than your son.
Yeah, well, they get taller than your son, and then like if you do want to do that, instead of having time to be spontaneous, I can't say the word spontaneous, you're spending time pulling the weeds, right?
Yeah.
Like that time is gone, and it just speaks into our finitude a little bit, like the fact that like we only have so much time.
Right. And I think like the heart of that message is like you can't be spontaneous unless you're the master of your own schedule, right?
Right.
Because like if you are the master of your schedule and something spontaneous comes up and you give it the time of day, you can then what you've missed in doing and you can reschedule it to a different time. Whereas if you're just living by the wind, if you miss something, then you won't have the time to get back to it, and you won't know when it's going to happen.
Yeah, and you have all sorts of different defenses to manage that. Some people just totally forget about it, or other people will freak out about it until it's done, or XYZ, like this looming task that they haven't been able to do. But to be able to be like, I could just schedule this for tomorrow, like we'll be all right, or to like even choose like there's a greater good here, and like wasting time with my family than this task, like there's freedom there to be a master of your own schedule. So I think it's a good place to kind of wrap things up for this inaugural episode of season 2 of the Hey Brother podcast. We want to invite you guys as we embark on season 2 to really join us in the conversation in the comment section below. How do you want to slow down your life? How do you want to live as the master of your own schedule? Tell us in the comments below. Maybe this video doesn't hit home with you. Maybe you're like, I don't want to slow down. I want to speed up. Tell us that down below. I feel like we made a good case why slowing down makes sense. But we want to hear your thoughts. And you can always send me an email at nick@crafterformore.com. There you can share your thoughts with me privately. You can also go to craftformore.com to learn more about what I do as a mentor, how I help men become who they're created to be, to live more radically free, whether you're struggling with addiction or career issues or relationship issues, or any mental health related issues. I'd be happy to walk with you and help you just become more who it is that God wants you to be. So with that, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the Hey Brother podcast, and we'll catch you guys next time. God bless.